Hello MotoGP enthusiasts, welcome back to ZNGP today. Ducati's dominance in MotoGP is no longer just a trend, it's a statement. And the mastermind behind the Red Machine's rise, Gigi Dall'Igna, isn't hiding his delight. Speaking to AS following the sprint race at Jerez, where all 6 Ducatis locked out the top 6, the Ducati Corse general manager shared praise, reflections, and a candid view on Marc Márquez, whose momentum continues to raise eyebrows and questions about the championship's future. Marc Márquez's return to the Jerez Grand Prix wasn't just another chapter in his comeback, it was a moment of mental reckoning. 5 years after the crash that changed his career, the 6-time champion chose caution over chaos in Sunday's main race, showing signs of maturity and long-term perspective. The sprint race win showed his brilliance, but his approach on Sunday told a deeper story. At Jerez, under the Andalusian sun and before thousands of cheering Spanish fans, Alex Marquez achieved what he's long chased, a maiden MotoGP victory. The triumph not only crowned his persistence but also propelled him to the summit of the World Championship standings, capitalizing on brother Marc's crash. In the celebratory glow, Gresini Racing's team manager Michele Massini reflected on Alex's journey, highlighting commitment, consistency, and the team spirit that fueled this breakthrough. Sprint races were introduced as MotoGP's bold new frontier, designed for fireworks, full-throttle aggression, and unpredictable podiums. But as the 2025 season unfolds, some riders are pulling back. HRC's Luca Marini is among those raising a red flag, arguing that the risk-reward ratio simply doesn't add up. His comments came after a tame Spanish sprint where the top 10 didn't change position after lap 2, highlighting a growing trend across recent rounds. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Ducati's 2025 season couldn't have started stronger. With 5 riders at the top of the standings and a historic sweep in the Jerez sprint, Dall'Igna has every reason to smile. His engineering vision has not only produced fast machines, but a system that enables riders like Marc and Alex Marquez, Bagnaia, and Martin to all shine. It's a rare position of control in the most competitive two-wheeled championship on the planet. It's truly a dream come true. And it's a huge thrill to see something like this. And even more so in front of this crowd, who shows us so much affection, Gigi Dall'Igna said. While many believe Marc Marquez is riding at ease, Dall'Igna pushed back on that narrative. The idea that the 8-time world champion is taking risks or riding with arrogance was firmly denied. Instead, Dall'Igna views Marquez's recent form as a product of control, not complacency. His 8 wins from the last 10 races underline a rider who's adapted rather than gambled. The truth is, he doesn't take risks. He doesn't take risks because he hasn't needed to, but he's not comfortable. With Marc Marquez now just 1 point behind his brother Alex in the standings, questions are swirling about whether Ducati has a favorite. But Dall'Igna offered a neutral, yet telling, response. While clearly thrilled with Marc's resurgence, he left no doubt that meritocracy rules at Ducati. Whoever performs will earn the rewards. Let the best win. If Marc is the best, let the best win. With Marc, Alex, and Pecco all within striking range, the title fight remains wide open. The prospect of Marc Marquez returning to championship glory after 6 years is as compelling as Alex Marquez claiming his first. Meanwhile, Pecco Bagnaia will be determined to assert his dominance as the reigning king. Dall'Igna won't predict, but he knows it's likely staying in red. He's doing something truly beautiful from a sporting point of view. From tactical neutrality to open admiration, Gigi Dall'Igna's remarks capture the tension and brilliance of Ducati's season so far. As the championship intensifies, one thing is certain: Marc Marquez is no longer Ducati's outsider, he's a contender. And if the Italian factory truly lets the best man win, the rest of the paddock better brace for more from number 93. After an aggressive start battling with Fabio Quartararo and Pecco Bagnaia, Marquez found himself on the ground by lap 3, another reminder of how tight the margins are in MotoGP. But instead of pushing recklessly after rejoining in 22nd, Marc delivered consistent, fast laps and climbed back to 12th. The difference this time? A decision to pull back when a big group loomed ahead, haunted by memories of 2020. I saw that I had another big group in sight, after Rins, but I thought about 2020 and I said, I will not exaggerate. I will not crash again. Marquez Statement. The Turn 3 crash from 5 years ago, when he launched from 16th to 3rd before a brutal highside, still lingers in Marc's mind. That moment, and the rushed comeback that followed, began a downward spiral of injuries, surgeries, and lost seasons. Sunday's decision not to chase glory was as much about preservation as performance. I'm not going all in. And it was only the 3rd lap. Too early to have a tire pressure issue. Moments before the crash, a brief brush between Marquez and Bagnaia brought back flashbacks of their intense 2024 duel. This time, it wasn't a fight for the win, it was a shift in tempo. Marc admitted that the shoulder contact helped reset his approach mid-race, deciding to breathe and manage the remainder with more control. Then I said, okay, now it's time to breathe and keep calm. The result may not have matched Saturday's high, but the day still ended with a smile. Younger brother Alex Marquez claimed his first ever MotoGP win, reclaiming the championship lead in the process. Marc didn't hesitate to celebrate that moment, even while trailing by a single point heading into Le Mans. It's the only thing that gave me a smile, that victory from Alex. I'm super proud of my brother, and again he's leading the championship. Caution doesn't always make headlines, but in Jerez, Marc Marquez's restraint was perhaps more powerful than a podium. In the sprint, he reminded everyone of his speed. In the Grand Prix, he showed wisdom. With Le Mans up next, the question isn't whether Marquez can win, but whether his evolution can take him all the way back to the top. Alex's win wasn't a flash in the pan, it was years in the making. Now in his 3rd season with Gresini Racing, he has repaid the team's faith with blistering pace and unwavering resolve. After seasons of podium near misses, the Jerez result felt like vindication for all involved. It's a fairy tale that continues. Only Alex, and we know how much work he's putting in, how much dedication and commitment he's putting in, Michele Massini said. Despite 2 world titles in Moto2, Alex's transition to MotoGP has been a roller coaster. Massini believes it's time the paddock recalibrates its view of the Spaniard, whose blend of speed and racecraft has finally translated to the top step of the premier class. We knew this victory was coming because I know how much this kid is worth. In my opinion, he's a rider who needs to be reevaluated. The closing stages at Jerez tested both nerve and machine. With rival gaps shrinking and pressure mounting, Massini described the pit lane tension as almost unbearable. Every corner carried weight, every lap demanded total focus, yet Alex delivered, holding on to deliver a career-defining win. The last 9 laps never ended. It was a unique thrill. Today is more emotion than pure joy. More than speed, it's Alex's steadiness that has distinguished his season. From pickups after crashes to consistent top 5 finishes, he's shown resilience that bodes well for title contention. Massini sees Jerez as the culmination of this relentless pursuit of perfection. I think if we analyze this weekend carefully, this is the culmination of the journey Alex is on. Gresini Racing's garage reads like a Hall of Fame: Bastianini, Di Giannantonio, Marc Marquez, and now Alex Marquez, all crowned under the Italian banner. Massini credits this success to a culture that values both human connection and engineering excellence, asserting that camaraderie off-track fuels performance on it. When we decided to focus on Alex, we did so because he believed strongly in us. He only thought about results, and that's also our mentality. As the paddock packs up for Le Mans, Alex Marquez leads the championship by a slender margin, proof that perseverance pays. With Gresini's faith validated and Massini's words echoing in the garage, the once underrated Spanish rider has announced himself as a genuine title contender. The real test, however, lies ahead, turning this fairy tale into a full-season saga. From Jerez to Qatar, the early laps increasingly dictate the final order. Data shows that in multiple recent sprints, Buram, Termas, Kota, and Losail, the top 3 or 5 places remained unchanged from lap 1 or 2 to the checkered flag. Marini believes this isn't coincidence but caution. They understood that the risk is a lot, and the points are nothing. Statement from Luca Marini. The 2023 season saw Pecco Bagnaia suffer from sprint DNFs that arguably cost him a shot at title defense. That memory lingers in the paddock. For Marini, the lesson is clear: one sprint crash can sink a weekend. If you crash, you are losing a lot to try and gain 1 point more. That is not making a big difference. While if you make a 0, it's a huge down. The drop in sprint aggression isn't just about points. Riders are now conscious of losing valuable setup data or race rhythm if they crash early on Saturday. The evolution is visible. Once billed as mini GPS, sprints are becoming high-speed simulations with championship survival in mind. You know that maybe if you crash, you're losing a lot. Another factor cooling sprint chaos is the stricter policing of on-track behavior. With race direction doling out increasingly harsh penalties, even experienced riders are thinking twice before pulling risky moves. If we are doing something crazy, it helps to calm down every rider a little bit. The current sprint format offers half points, which many now see as not worth full effort. Marini suggests a possible fix: make the reward match the risk. With full points on the line, the dynamics could change dramatically. Full points for the sprint would be interesting for sure. As MotoGP seeks to balance entertainment with rider safety, sprint races remain a hot topic. Luca Marini's remarks reflect a sentiment felt by many in the paddock. Unless something shifts, the Saturday showdown might continue to play out like a dress rehearsal instead of the high-octane drama it was meant to be. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!